Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have the Djibouti's achievement in the International Olympics of the French language. For the national scene, EcoWorld demands the election in January 2022. Welcome to our newsroom. Somali Prime Minister Mohamed Hussein Roble arrived this evening in Djibouti for an official working visit in Djibouti, welcomed at the airport by Djibouti's Minister of Education Mustafa Mohamed Mahmoud and several members of the government. The Somali Prime Minister is accompanied on this trip by the members of the Somali government. Djibouti and Somalia enjoy a privileged and exceptional relationship which draws its energy from a number of common denominators, including language, culture, and geographical proximity. The annual meeting of Somali heritage intellectuals is still going on at the People's Palace. This second day focused on panel discussions around a different cross-cutting theme, but especially contemporary. Indeed, the Horn of Africa is experiencing a dynamic that remains fragile and even tense despite the drought that is raging. With this in mind, these major themes will allow the panelists to exchange their views and visions. These discussions, which will end tomorrow, are intended to facilitate a solid and frank exchange of views. It should be recalled that the Institute has invited legislators from all countries in the Horn of Africa. Djibouti participated in the International French Language Online Olympiad, a competition co-organized by Confemen and the Organisation Internationale de la Francophonie from 7 to 9 December. The International French Language Olympiad aims to strengthen the use of French among young Francophones as well as opportunities for linguistic, cultural, and networking exchanges, linguistic and cultural exchanges and networking. They include an individual writing test consisting of a 1 hour argumentative essay and hours long argumentative essay and a team debated on topical issue current affairs. 100 young people from 20 countries on 3 continents competed. The results were announced on Thursday, 9 December, in a virtual closing ceremony. The results were announced on Thursday, 9 December, at a virtual closing ceremony, and the Republic of Djibouti won the first prizes in the writing tests in the 32 category, B2 category, which is an advanced levels of languages, and 4 prizes in the oral tests. Congratulations to our 5 young students who represent the Republic of Djibouti and who have just contributed to its international reputation through this linguistic and intellectual achievement. The Deputy Minister of Education and Science of Somaliland, Dr. Abdul Hakim Saeed Musa, paid a working visit this morning to the various vocational training centers and logistic transport of Balbala. The minister was accompanied by the Somaliland ambassador to Djibouti, the Director of Technical Education Vocational Training, Duksiye Awlad Duksiye, the Inspector of EPS, Mr. Abdul Qadir Dahir, as well as the senior staff of the Technical Education Vocational Training. In the first step, the delegation led by the Deputy Ministers of Education went to the CFF Omar Gel Ahmed and had an exchange meeting with the Director General of the CFF Omar Gelle, Ms. Aisha Farah, where she made a broad presentations on the prospects and challenges of the center. Then the delegation visited successively the multimedia rooms, the library, the cafeteria of the center. At each stage, the Somaliland minister congratulated and thanked the delegation for the warm welcome. The ninth meeting of the Regional Steering Committee of the Development Response to the Impact of Refugee Displacement Project took place on Monday, 13 December at Campus Key Hotel, sponsored by the Minister of Solidarity, IGAD, with the support of the World Bank. A day dedicated to 27,000 displaced to the persons from neighboring countries on Djiboutian soil. The ADDS and Djiboutian Social Development Agency has been carried out community action since its creation to improve the daily life of the most disadvantaged population. It intervenes in several social areas such as education, health, electricity, and also supervises community activities. The Social Development Agency also tries to promote rural development, social safety net project, youth employability, and craft development. The member countries of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, Ethiopia, Uganda, Djibouti, Sudan, and Somalia presented their project and perspectives during the day through a projection. Yesterday afternoon, the Minister of Trade and Tourism, Mohamed Warsam Diriye, received in his office the representative of the USA. The meeting focused on the cooperation relations between our country and these American organizations and the ways and means likely to strengthen them further. More specifically, this audience focused on the various aspects of cooperation between the two countries, particularly in the areas of intervention of the ministry. This meeting was attended by the close collaborator of the Minister of Trade and Tourism, including the Director of Handicraft, Mr. Abdallah Dahri Rasha. General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, received this morning at 9 a.m. in the Hall of Honors at Camp Sheikh Osman, the Japanese ambassador accredited to Djibouti, Mr. Umio Otsuka. This courtesy visit is part of his contact with the authorities of the country. The Chief of the General Staff addressed his warm congratulations to the Japanese diplomat for his accreditations in Djibouti and welcomed him and wished him a pleasant stay in the Republic of Djibouti, a land of meeting and exchange. In addition, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim recalled the excellent cooperation relations between the two armies through the training of military and stressed his readiness to work further to consolidate these fraternal ties. Indeed, the Japanese self-defense forces are particularly involved in the training of the armed forces in risk management and natural disasters and the training of heavy machinery such as bulldozer graders. The mediator of the Republic, Mumin Ahmed Sheikh, received in his office this morning the new UNDP representative, Ms. Emma Guan Ano. This meeting was a part of the new representative's contact with members of the government, the ombudsman of the Republic, and the representative discussed ways and means of strengthening existing cooperation. The meeting between the two personalities ended with the promise to move forward hand in hand and to advocate for the means to succeed in their common mission. The 41st General Assembly and Executive Councils of the Arab State Broadcasting Union started on Mondays in Riyadh, the capital of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The Republic of Djibouti is represented by the Director General of RTD, Mr. Aden Abdi Jama, accompanied by the Editor-in-Chief of the Arab section, Muhammad Abdullahi Jaber. The opening ceremony was also attended by the heads and directors of media institutions in Arab countries, in addition to ASB partners. The opening session was marked by a visual presentation of the progress or careers of the Union, which is considered one of the most important institutions of joint Arab action. One of the sessions will also be devoted to holding a symposium on the theme Arab media facing the global digital media. Finally, we know that the Director General of RTD went the day before yesterday to the embassy of our country in Riyadh, where he was received by the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Djibouti and the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Diayuddin Said Bamakrama. The two sides discussed in-depth ways to improve and develop the cooperation between RTD and the Arab media organizations and institutions, in particular with the radio television authorities of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. As part of the improvement of the living conditions of the disabled people, the National Agency for Disabled People, in collaboration with the Ministry of Budget and TICA, organized yesterday a ceremony of handing over offices and computer equipment and handing over certificate of training of handicraft of the cultural cooperative to disabled people at the headquarters of Vivre Plus Fort. These headquarters will improve the social protections of the disabled population at the national level, ensuring the promotion and care of people with disability living in Djibouti and in the interior regions. This ceremony was chaired by the Director General of INPH, Duali Said Mahmoud, and was attended by the President of the Network of Disabled People, Mr. Idris Moumin, representative of the United Nations System, Mr. Eric Overvest, the Director General of TICA, Mr. Kutluhan Yuthel, Italian military stationed in Djibouti, officials of the Ministry of Budget, and officials of this agency. The President of the Regional Council, Mohammed Hamad Ismail of OBOK, Mohammed Hamad Ismail, accompanied by the Secretary General Omar Hassan, went to the Qorangar in the summer. Welcomed by the Sub-Prefect of Qorangar, Mr. Muhammad Ali, in the day of Monday, 13 December 2021. The locality of Qorangar is the first stage of a series of meetings with the population to present the 5-year review 2017-2021 of the Regional Council of OBOK. On his arrival, the President was welcomed by the Sub-Prefect, Mr. Muhammad Ali Umar, and the elders of the villages. It was an exercise in accountability for the local elected officials. The ceremony began with a welcome from the Sub-Prefect and the village chief. This was followed by the interventions of the President of the Regional Council of OBOK, who thanked the population of Qorangar for their hospitality, but also for their commitment to local development. Then the President of the Regional Council of OBOK, Mohammed Hamad Ismail, made the inspection visit of the major works of the sub-prefecture. The President saw for himself the state of progress of the constructions of the President saw for himself the progress of the constructions of a fishery and a high school, and which are part of the dryland project. He also went to Rassian to inspect the constructions of a hotel complex, which Prime Minister Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed recently officially launched on his speech to the RTD. The President recalled that the sub-prefectures of Qorangar is now the second city after Obok, the capital of the region, that the state has invested heavily to redress the development. He said that all these initiatives are in line with the policy of the head of state, Ismail Omar Gelle, who spares no effort to improve the development of the country. and an icon of the Tajarrah region, the late Ibrahim Burhan, known as Toba, has left us. The late Ibrahim Toba was hospitalized, and his death was a great sorrow for the whole population of Tajarrah, with whom he was familiar and who frequently crossed his path during his fishing activity at the seaside when he was in good health. We share the pain of the families of the late Ibrahim Burhan Toba and express our sincere condolence to him and pray to God to welcome him into his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. For the international scene, West African leaders meeting at a summit in Nigeria on Sunday again demanded February elections in Mali and will impose additional sanctions from January 1st without a commitment from the Malian authorities to do so. The leaders of the economic community of the West African state ECOWAS meeting in Abuja gave the Malian authorities until 31 December to present a plan to hold elections on the scheduled date, failing that sanctions, the nature of which was not specified, will come into force on the 1st January. A source close to ECOWAS said the ECOWAS mediators in the crisis, Goodluck Jonathan, will travel to Mali in the next few days to talks with the authorities. The sources said ECOWAS has thus ignored the attempt to appease the Malian transitional president, Colonel Assimi Goïta, who had committed before the summit to submit an electoral calendar before 31 January. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.